All right, we are able to share some more details with you on the investigation, the Shraddha investigation that's going on as we speak in the Mehrauli forest. Remember, a girl murdered by her partner in May, her body then chopped into 35 pieces over the course of 18 days and dispersed around the Mehrauli forest. Right now, as we speak, her alleged murderer, her partner Aftab, is with police in the forest itself. They are identifying where the body parts were left, and I believe the breaking is that 10 human remain pieces have been found so far. These pieces have been picked up by forensics experts. They've been sent for examination. After that, they'll be sent to match with the sample of Shraddha's father. Let's go over to my colleague Anvit right now for more details. Anvit, what is not immediately clear is that were these body parts found in the investigation yesterday or today? Have these been found in the last few minutes?
See, these 10 body parts that we're breaking now were recovered in the past 2 days. Saturday it was that this man had been arrested by the police, and he had previously also been brought to the jungle area for recovery of the body parts. Police are saying, telling CNN News 18 that 10 odd parts have been recovered. These are the same parts that we earlier mentioned, that some human remains have been recovered, but the number of these parts that have been recovered is roughly around 10 to 12. These body parts have been recovered. They will now be sent for forensic examination and DNA profiling, but so far only 10 parts have been recovered out of the 35 parts that this body was chopped into. So the big challenge lies ahead of the police in this entire jungle area, because this jungle area spans to more than 500 to 1 kilometer of area, and police teams, as you can see, are already here. They have been looking for the body part that he had disposed of. Police are saying, senior officials we spoke to just a few minutes ago, they told us that they had managed to recover so far 10 pieces of human remains and out of 35. All these parts will be sent for forensic examination and DNA profiling only after ascertaining that these are human remains. These are the details that the latest we are getting from the Delhi police in this case.
Okay, Anvit, I do want to ask you now, you've said, as you've just told us, that 10 odd human remains have been recovered so far, but just from a data point of view, can you share with our audiences, if there were 35 parts, what state can we expect them to be in right now? We know that this incident took place in May. Our colleague Anshul was telling us that each piece was probably only 2 inches, 3 inches in size. So what are the police's expectations right now?
See, first coming to the chopping of the body is what we are getting from senior officials in Delhi police. Body parts had been chopped in a manner that, they are beyond recognition. Head has not been recovered yet. Body parts were cut from here, mostly from the joints, because this man was a chef previously and he had some knowledge on where on to cut the body parts so that there's the least of bleeding. They had been cut from joints, torso has been cut, the head had been separated from the body, and then mostly the body parts had been cut from joint, and in 35 pieces this body was cut. So I maybe not in 1 or 2 inches, but even then small pieces of body that he had spread across in this large area of, that spreads across to 500 meters to 1 kilometer. So it will be a tough task for the police to find all these body parts, because it's been more than 6 months and these parts have already decomposed beyond recognition. So that will be a larger challenge. And as I said previously, that since 10 body parts have been recovered out of 35, these have been sent for forensic labs, and first the police's job is to identify that these are human remains, and then DNA profiling will be done to connect these body parts, to relate them with the sample of Shraddha's father that has already been taken, so that it can be confirmed that these body parts are of Shraddha, and then in the police files finally she can be said to be someone who has been murdered, because so far the FIR that has been registered only is of kidnapping.
And Anvit, the aspect we haven't spoken about till now is one that we've asked about: clothing and jewelry, recognizable jewelry. Are those both details that Aftab had already removed before he proceeded to decompose and distribute the body across the entire forest?
See, as more and more confession will come, he will, tell police that what did he do with the clothes that Shraddha was wearing that night. Because this woman was living with him, there would be, her clothes in the room as well and her belongings. So he must have disposed of the belongings too. Once the body parts are recovered, they will find out that where all her clothes and her other belongings were disposed of. There is a possibility that he had burnt off the clothes, the jewelry he had, he sold it off. But, they're yet to know the psyche of this man. He will also also be put through a counselor to know more details and what was conspiring into his mind when he took this brutal step. Because in his confession he has said that he killed Shraddha only in fit of rage when one such argument over her pestering him to get married, because that was the reason why she had eloped with him and she had told her parents that she wants to be in a live-in relationship with this man. But this, as far as the police are concerned, comes across to as a weaker theory to them, because only this being the reason that the woman wants to get married to this man, and he first strangles her, and even then he does not inform her family members or the police, or doesn't go to the police, but chops her body into 35 odd pieces and buys a saw. He bought a refrigerator to store the body, to wrap up these these body parts into plastic bags and then store them into a refrigerator to freeze them off, so that when he goes to throw them off, he can throw them at a far off distances, like usually people throw stones. So that was the modus operandi he resorted to. Also, a lot of bleeding that took place when he was chopping off the body. He bought a bleach online to wash off the floor, so that when police teams, if this case comes to the police's knowledge and police team comes to his house, they do not find any blood samples or any evidences that that can put him into this entire case and bring him out as a perpetrator to the murder. So this was also well thought, and that is why police think that he had well planned this murder in advance, buying a saw, buying a refrigerator, ordering bleach online, and then shifting to this location just 1 month, less than 1 month before the murder takes place. This comes across as a well planned thing, and police are also trying to establish this man's criminal antecedents and to find out all those people he was in touch with, all those women he invited to his house when the body was still lying in the refrigerator. What would they say about him? What would the common friends of the couple would say about him, about his psyche and about his mental state?
Okay.